This video is primarily for crazy people like me who want to grow mango trees in colder climates. If you live in a tropical, subtropical or even warm temperate climate, some of the tips I'm going to talk about could also be of interest to you. By cold climate, I mean a climate where the lowest temperatures in wintertime will kill your mango tree planted in the ground, unless you have a giant greenhouse to shelter it and are ready to fork the money for supplemental heating at nighttime. Tip number 1. Grow your mango tree from seed. Mango trees grown from seeds are more resistant than grafted trees. Grafted mango trees, when you can find them at a specialized nursery, can be quite expensive. The mango fruit and its seeds are much more affordable and often readily available at the grocery store. Also, germinating a mango seed is quite easy, even in cold climates. Growing from seed allows you to have multiple plants, put them through the harshest conditions right from the start, and keep only the strongest plants. For example, use the soil from your garden instead of commercial soil. The soil in your garden has all sorts of bacteria and fungi. If your mango seedling survives these conditions, then it is more likely to survive at a later stage of its development. When growing a mango tree in a cold climate, in my opinion, picking the fruits from your tree should be viewed as the cherry on top, not the end goal. Nevertheless, if the prospect of eating the fruits of your mango tree is what drives you, then careful selection of the seeds is key. Depending on the mango variety, the seeds can be monoembryonic or polyembryonic. Monoembryonic seeds will produce different trees and fruits that are different from those of the mother tree, while polyembryonic seeds will produce clones of the mother tree and therefore the exact same fruits. So ideally choose a mango variety that you like and that is also polyembryonic, but don't entirely discard monoembryonic seeds as genetic variations can produce more resilient plants. Here in North America, I like Atolfo mango seeds because they are my preferred commercially available mangoes and the seeds are also polyembryonic. But I also like the Atolfo seeds for another reason. The seeds are smaller than those of other mango varieties. This allows me to use smaller pots, which brings us to the next tip. Tip number 2. Use the right pot. Mango trees have strong and deep tap roots. This is especially true at the seedling stage, as can be seen with this seedling grown in water. So at the early stage, it's preferable to grow the seedling in tall and narrow pot. If the pot is too shallow, it can stunt the growth of the seedling. Narrow pots reduce the risk of root rot indoors in wintertime, especially during the first 2 winters of the seedling life. As mentioned earlier, selecting smaller seeds allows for the use of narrower pots, with the seeds laying flat. With bigger seeds, using tall narrow pots is also possible, but a bit more tricky, as the seeds have to be planted vertically after they're germinated, and the base of the trunk can twist, but there can be a certain aesthetic look to that. Along with its strong taproot, a mango tree also progressively develops a fibrous root system. This can actually be induced at the seedling stage with air pruning. I just make a bunch of holes in a pot to turn it into an air pruning pot. Not only do the holes induce the development of a more fibrous root system, they also further reduce the risk of root rot with the tall pots, as the root rot is mainly due to lack of oxygen rather than too much water. Once the sapling has developed a fibrous root system, it can be transplanted to a wider pot. Tip number 3. Go easy on the watering. In my experience, in colder climates, killing a potted mango tree by overwatering it happens more often than by underwatering it. By the time the signs of overwatering become obvious, it is difficult to reverse the decline. So with the tall narrow air pruning pots, I use a fast draining soil, which gives me some more buffer when I mess up the watering. And who doesn't make mistakes from time to time? For fast draining soil, I just add rock dust to the bacteria and fungi infested soil from my garden. Besides fungi, spider mites are the other invisible pests that are difficult to deal with. They can proliferate quickly in the dry environment of the house in wintertime. If left unchecked, the spider mites will slowly kill potted mango trees, usually starting with the new growth. Neem oil is a natural and effective solution against spider mites, but I use it only as a last resort. Regularly spraying the plants with water, ideally rainwater, is a preventive measure and a better option. With the indoor dry air in wintertime, the leaves usually dry out in a couple of hours, However, if your indoor environment is more humid, keeping the leaves wet for prolonged periods can lead to other issues, like a fungal disease. Tip number 4. Grow your mango saplings in raised beds. When the weather gets warmer in spring, it's a good idea to move the mango trees outside. Even better is to bury them with their pots in a raised bed or a larger container filled with the soil from the garden when they are still young, small, and easy to move around. This helps them strengthen over the course of the summer before facing the long cold season again. The holes in the air pruning pots also allow for some contact between the soil in the pot and the soil in the raised bed, in line with the idea to keep only the most resistant plants. Also, planting the whole pot and not just the tree makes it easier to remove the tree from the raised bed when comes the time to move it back indoors. Look at how fibrous the root system of this mango seedling is at the end of the summer. It was ready for a larger pot. For the people who are used to ordering bare root trees online in winter time, you can call this a bare root tree, but it is not dormant. I had no issues after transplanting it like that to its new pot with new soil from the garden. The raised bed can be in a greenhouse or outside. Both methods work well with mangoes. Mango trees, even at the seedling stage, are very heat tolerant and they love full sun exposure. Most people use raised beds to grow vegetables. Nothing wrong with that, but from my point of view, growing veggies can get a bit boring. So if you feel like that, why not grow a few tropical fruit trees in a dedicated raised bed to keep your gardening flame burning? Tip number 5. Prune your mango sapling. It can take a few years before a mango seedling starts to branch out. They often grow straight up on a thin trunk. Pruning a mango sapling induces it to branch out sooner. The tree will also become more bushy with more leaves. The trunk will thicken faster. The whole tree becomes more robust and pleasing to the eye as a houseplant. Pruning early also keeps the tree small, which is always a challenge when growing big trees indoors. As the tree starts to branch out, it's a good idea to train it to give it a preferred structure. This works best when the new branches are still green. They can bend pretty far without breaking, but don't go too far or they can snap. For extreme bending and extreme shapes, it's better to grow progressively. Pruning can also help a diseased tree recover. Pruning should be considered for the trunk, the branches, and even the leaves. Now, putting all this together, I had 2 Kent mango seedlings that were really struggling for months with a fungal disease, a form of anthracnose, I believe. But they wouldn't die, so I decided to give them a chance. After I moved them to the raised bed inside the greenhouse in spring, I heavily pruned all the dead parts. In summer, I moved them to the raised bed outside, and they both started to show some vigor. By fall, this guy was growing strong, to the point that I decided to prune it again to start shipping it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for updates and more content like this.